Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So there is a controversy in Compton, and it's out of Fox 11 in depth. And so I noticed it, and I believe there's a video. So here it is stating that Compton residents voice concerns over chronic problems in the city. And so, segment one, they drive through Compton and you'll see piles of garbage and lots of potholes and broken street lights. So the state of despair has some in Compton describing their city council as dysfunctional. Why? As Fox 11 reporter Gina Silva reports, the council has what seems to be a permanent 3-to-1 split. So it goes into the group or gang of three appear to vote the opposite of anything Mayor Aja Brown wants. So, to Brown, what's happening is a violation of the law. Council members, she says, they are not supposed to be predetermined how they're supposed to vote, but do so issue by issue. So it's a Brown Act issue. So in the first segment, Gina explains the dilemma and offers some explanation as to what she has uncovered. So apparently there's some problems on the higher up level in terms of council people in Compton. So we also see Councilwoman Gina Zurita. She's the leader of the Gang of Three, flipping the middle finger at the constituent during a meeting. So when confronted by Gina, she tries to deny it. So we also hear her telling a constituent in unflattering terms that his project didn't get approved because he associated with Mayor Brown. So there's controversy within council people. So that was captured on tape as well. And we see that in this segment, the mayor is not part of the voting block of three. So as it goes on to segment two, in the segment, we have an interview with Mayor Aja Brown. She says that there are 1,000 streets in Compton, so although lots of people aren't seeing the work on the streets, there is pothole repair going on. But potholes are apparently a symptom of a larger ill in the city of Compton, of course. So, and at least to some, it's a governmental divide on the council. So, when asked if she should bear some responsibility for the problem, Mayor Brown said her job is to come up with ideas and lead the city, but she can't speak for the council members who don't want to follow her lead. So it goes on to a segment three. So in segment three, one of the projects given the thumbs down by three members voting block was one brought to them by a group of ex-gang members who raised a $500,000 through celebrity fundraisers to fix some of the things in their hometown. So in this segment, we talked with Chico Brown, David Cox, and Donald Holloway, and a contractor named Derek Amos. They explain their disappointment, but they say that they're not going to let the council's problems stop them from doing good things for the town that they grew up in. And so I'm going to go up. That is the written version of what is happening. I'm just checking to see if you can see what I'm seeing because sometimes, it doesn't come clear. But these videos that I'm making are going to be focused on real issues, real problems that are happening in neighborhoods in Los Angeles and outside of Los Angeles in neighboring cities and real social issues. And so these are the issues that people are grappling with that are happening right now as we speak. And these issues are on a daily basis that people are trying to fight for the betterment of their city or the betterment of their town or rent stabilizations. There's lots of different issues that are happening in California, you know, on up to immigration issues and possibly what I hate to say this, but I heard that there were going to be some detention centers that they were thinking about building in California. And there were politicians and people that were higher up that were saying that it makes California look bad to plan to build detention centers and also building more prisons. And what message does that send cities in California? And so this right here is a controversy that is happening right now in Compton, the city of Compton, which is pretty much a neighboring city to Los Angeles. And so I'm going to play this video. So I have to apologize if there's a commercial before the video, but apparently when you see these cities and there's illegal dumping or there's trash everywhere and people are complaining, you notice that there are people in the communities that are concerned about their city and their towns. They don't want to see this. So they've been doing everything they can to fight these issues, but their voices are not heard or are falling on deaf ears. And so there's also controversy with people who are higher up on what issues get resolved and how fast they get resolved.
Beverly Hills is fine. West LA is fine. What happened to Compton?
Today on Fox 11 News in Depth, it's a question many residents are asking. What happened to Compton? Potholes everywhere, trash on the sidewalks, buildings abandoned.
Getting worse by the day.
Many pointing to the Compton City Council and this council member pointing her middle finger at a constituent.
Mr. Rita, please stop giving me the finger.
I have never been disrespectful to city.
You flipped a person off during a city council meeting.
You really enhanced the quality of the picture. I don't even believe it's a finger.
We saw the video. You were flipping her off.
Well, that's fine. Maybe you did. But that lady had done so many evil things.
Some calling the council dysfunctional.
Very immature, childish, no focus on the mission, which is to serve the community.
Today we'll talk to the mayor of Compton to find out what's being done and hear from former gang members offering to fix some of those problems with money they've raised on their own as being told no. Fox 11 News in Depth starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Hal Eisner. We're joined by Gina Silva. We're doing something a little bit different this time. We're taking a close look at government in Compton, something Gina's been looking at for weeks.
We started focusing on Compton because our viewers were sending emails about the potholes, complaining about that. But then they said, you have to look deeper because the troubles are much bigger than just potholes.
Well, Compton is certainly no stranger to controversy. In the 90s, some prominent public officials got caught up in a waste-to-energy scandal. Not long after that, a back and forth between Mayor Omar Bradley and Compton police led to the disbanding of that entire police department. Bradley was hit with some serious corruption charges as well. A few years after that, another mayor got in trouble for missing too many meetings. Now, more controversy, and we're going to talk with Gina more, but first watch this.
What I did for the city and trying to help the city was 100% legit.
Compton resident Chico Brown, a former gang member, raised $500,000 to invest in the city of Compton. His idea? Unite rival older gang members who have a background in construction to rebuild and restore parts of Compton that desperately need it.
You know, I got guys from East Side, Crips, Potholes, and Hispanics working together. You know, I went to the mayor and asked, like, you think this possible? He said, yeah, write up a proposal.
He did. And suddenly gang members who couldn't stand each other before were excited to work together for the betterment of Compton.
It seemed to be a no-brainer to go to the city and say, hey, we got this money. We got these guys that want to come back and repair some of the damage that they've done over the years.
What the guys didn't know is that the city of Compton, according to many residents, is in crisis. And Chico's project was caught right in the middle of political infighting.
I'm on this side of this now.
No.
Councilwoman Jana Zarita, Tana McCoy, and Councilman Isaac Galvan voted no on Chico's project.
I was asking her, why? How could you do this to your city, to your community?
He believes the answer to that question was captured on camera. Chico had been filming his proposal for a possible documentary. This exchange with Councilwoman Jana Zarita was captured in a public setting in council chambers after his project was voted down.
That's what they did. That's not true.
Zarita made it clear she doesn't like Asia Brown, the mayor of Compton.
She got nothing to do with this. Sometimes it ain't what you do, it's who you associate with, right? You know that better than me, Chico. You know that better than me. I wouldn't support that mother to eat.
We understand that there's some infighting between you and the mayor, and you're not allowing certain projects to go through because of that.
That's not true. I don't know where you get your facts from. That is not true. I have never not voted to pass something to progress the city of Compton.
I wasn't surprised, unfortunately.
Compton Mayor Asia Brown says this isn't the first time a project that would benefit the residents of Compton gets turned down by the same council members, Zarita, Galvan, and McCoy. We requested interviews with all three council members on this matter, and they all declined. Are they voting against projects just because you support them?
Many times, yes. I have experience being on the dais, bringing projects forward to restore our parks, even to repair our streets. And there is a voting bloc that has voted no against these improvements.
Councilwoman Emma Sharif tells a similar story. Have they done this before?
Yes, to me and the mayor, unfortunately, because I'm not a part of the voting bloc. So a lot of things that I want to bring, a lot of things that I may suggest never happen.
Compton City Council is made up of 5 members. So a voting bloc of 3 is a majority vote. Zarita proudly talks about her 3 votes in this video posted on Facebook.
They can call it whatever they want to. They can call it gangster, they can call it whatever. But when you have 3 votes, that's how you get things done.
But is that legal? Not if you ask the mayor.
For one person to reach out to other members and confirm their vote prior to the vote happening is a violation of the Brown Act, and that would warrant an investigation.
For the men who wanted to make a difference in their community, the outcome to such a promising project is devastating.
I thought it was BS. You know what I mean? I don't see how they could turn it down.
What do you want our viewers to get from the story?
The truth and stop the corruption.
The truth is what we're looking at this half hour. We're going to hear from some of those ex-gang members later in this program. Gina Silva joining me again, and that was quite a powerful investigative piece. Can you talk a little bit about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that we didn't see?
Well, there's a lot going on in Compton. As I said earlier, the reason we started doing stories there is because we kept getting emails and phone calls from the residents saying, please report on these potholes. When we started doing that, that's when they said, forget the potholes. There's so much going on here. The city council does not get along. They keep stopping progress, and you need to look into that. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, to listen to the mayor, and we're going to hear from the mayor as well. To listen to the mayor, it sounds like there's some bad blood going on here.
Yes. If you listen to the mayor, she says that there have been a lot of missed opportunities. She's presented proposals, had several come forward, big ones. We're talking Serena Williams, Adidas, different projects that would have benefited the city of Compton.
What was it that Serena Williams wanted to do?
We'll get her to talk about that because I don't know the specifics, but I know that they wanted her to come and do something for the city of Compton. And again, the same 3 council people voted down. And the reason she believes is because they don't want to give her credit. So, in any small city or any city, who is the top leader? The mayor. So the mayor always gets the credit if the city's doing well. So if she's doing well, then they're not happy with her.
If the mayor if things aren't going so well among the council members, does the mayor have some responsibility in this as well?
I believe so. We'll get to talk to her as well. But you have to look at the whole situation. As I said in the piece, it's a 5-member board. She has 1 vote. Sharif has 1 vote. They're always outvoted. You have the 3 who always vote the same. If that is the case, they're the majority vote. So anything she brings forward, it will get voted down.
And one more thing before we get into the next segment where we're going to be talking to the mayor. Is there an investigation going on at all at this point?
Not that we are aware of.
No investigation.
She's calling for an investigation. As we heard her, she said this would warrant an investigation because you can't have 3 votes even before you look at the matter. You have to assess each situation, each proposal as it comes forward. And if you already know that your other 2 council members are going to vote your way no matter what, that is illegal.
All right. We're going to ask the mayor more about that coming up. But still ahead on Fox 11 News in depth, we'll hear some of the complaints from people in Compton. And again, we'll hear from the mayor. Check out this video that went viral on Facebook. A family in Compton got so fed up with potholes, they took matters into their own hands. Victor Avila grabbed a wheelbarrow and some shovels and started filling in the holes in front of Roosevelt Elementary School. And some of the kids there helped as well. By his wife and his 2 young kids also there helping. And it's odd. It's odd, Gina, to see that sort of thing, isn't it? To see that people are fixing their own potholes. Now, as we've been reporting over the past month, many people in Compton are wondering why the city's government hasn't cleaned things up. Check out part of Gina Silva's story, speaking with some of those fed up citizens of Compton.
Residents say their beloved Compton is feeling abandoned and run down.
To be honest with you, it's embarrassing. As a taxpayer, to see the streets look like this.
Our lighting's bad, our streets are bad. Safety is becoming an issue.
It is just getting worse by the day, it seems.
Residents have plenty of complaints, but leading the list are these huge potholes throughout the city.
So I can put my giant foot in this hole here.
Candace Leos has lived in Compton her entire life.
I want to see Compton become a place where you can be proud to go home. You can be proud to have people come visit you. Right now, it's a shame. It's embarrassing.
Even cops patrolling this area seem to be fed up with the condition of these streets.
It does terrible damage to our patrol vehicles, and it's terrible for the citizens as well.
Okay, back with me again, Gina Silva, and joining us also, Mayor Asia Brown at City Hall in Compton. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it, Mayor.
Thanks for having me.
The residents want to know, when are the potholes going to be fixed?
Well, we have currently proposed pothole refilling and removal. We're on our 3rd phase of pothole removal in the city of Compton. We're focusing on major thoroughfares, freeway on-ramps and off-ramps, which were completed last week. I think the biggest issue with residents' concerns is just the speed in which the city is addressing the disrepair. Compton street system has been disinvested in for 30 years, and so we're not just focusing on basic maintenance. We're actually going back and having to repair disinvestment in the city for over 20 years. And so currently, we've had several proposals come forward. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, at the inception of Measure P, there are members of the city council that delayed in voting for these repairs. And so now, 2 years later, we're playing catch up and trying to address the infrastructure needs, and we're doing so at this time.
Can we focus on Measure P for a moment? Because this is a measure that involves, I think, about $8 million a year that would provide relief for the roads, for many different things, including finding people for the fire department, working on gang intervention, money to go into the general fund. It's not just a measure that's specifically for potholes. And so are you using any of that money now for other things other than potholes?
It is a general tax, and the proposal was to address street repairs, to address lighting, to address park improvements, and also public safety. Those funds are currently being used for all of the items above, and we also have a pothole contract that is currently underway. And so that's how Measure P is currently being spent.
Why do you think it is that people feel that the potholes just aren't getting fixed?
Well, we have 1,000 streets in the city of Compton. Obviously, we can't repave 1,000 streets all at once. And because some of the streets are in such disrepair, we aren't able to do a basic slurry seal package as you see other places. We actually have to dig the street out, redesign that street, get architecture, engineering, all the approvals that go along with that, and then we're able to lay down new streets. So currently in the city, there's a project called 1301 where there's approximately 25 streets under full reconstruction, which also includes sidewalks. We also recently approved a lighting assessment study that will give us the recommendations on how we can add additional lighting to supplement existing lighting to further light up the city and focus on pedestrian canopies. And so we're doing what we can with the funding, but there's also an opportunity to accelerate repairs, which we have brought forward on many occasions to the council, understanding that because our system is in such poor condition, that just going along with the pay-as-you-go method, which is what the city is doing currently, will not address decades of neglect. And so we're in a position where just because we have the funding on an annual basis, we need to capitalize those funds so that we can do rapid repairs throughout the city on our streets, continue with our park improvements, and move forward as well with our additional lighting enhancements, which are currently underway.
So there's a lot on your plate. We're talking about massive repairs, but also a lot of infighting, as we just showed in that video, in that story. There are a lot of problems. Can you talk about the missed opportunities?
Yeah, unfortunately, there has been infighting on the council. Our main reason for being elected is to serve the community. I just believe that when things come forward that can enhance the quality of life for our residents, it's our responsibility to vote in favor. And unfortunately, projects like Chico Brown's project with Netflix is just one of several projects that have been denied by the city council. We've had a partnership with Venus and Serena Williams. They wanted to open a new center in the community to serve our residents, and they actually have to go elsewhere and open up separately outside of the city, within city limits, but without the partnership of the city. And so that's really unfortunate to have great people that have come from the city of Compton that want to invest in lifting up our community to be told no, they can't partner with the community, especially when they're bringing in their own financing, their own resources, and their own capacity. And so that's just one example.
Do you hold any responsibility for the inability of this council to be able to function properly without just 3 votes this way and 2 votes that way? And also, what do you think that bad blood is all about?
I'm one person. We're all adults here. We all took an oath of office to serve our residents. I don't take responsibility to control other elected officials. I do believe that it is my responsibility to bring forward projects, opportunities that can move our city forward. I believe that this is about taking care of business. It's not about personal relationships or the lack thereof. I know, and they know, that I've gone above and beyond to try to work with them to find out what they'd like to do within the community. I still don't know what their vision is for the city. So I've tried to work with people, but I refuse to be a part of business as usual in the city of Compton. I don't, and I believe the bad blood is really stems from my inability or my lack of will to support certain employees that are related to council members to advance in certain positions that they don't qualify for. I refuse to sidestep current administrative procedures to enhance certain people. And I believe that there are rules, regulations, policies, systems in place for a reason. And I just refuse to be a part of that. And I think that that's really where the issue personally stems between one particular member of the council, Zarita, and I.
All right, Mayor, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And I know you've got a lot on your plate today, but bottom line is good luck with what's going on in Compton. Still ahead, we'll talk to the former Compton gang members who wanted to use money they raised themselves to rehab some Compton landmarks, but the city council turned them down. That's coming up. We're talking about problems in the city of Compton today, including a story about some former gang members who want to use money they've raised on their own to fix up some well-known community landmarks, including Jackie Robinson baseball field, at no cost to the city, no cost at all. But the city council voted it down. Joining us now to talk about that are three of the former members. We got Chico Brown, Donnell Holloway, and Derek Amos. And then on this side of the couch, we have David Cox. All of these men have been working diligently to try to put some money together. You're all disappointed about not getting the ability to use this money that you've raised through fundraisers, right? Celebrity-based fundraisers. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to try to do now?
Already started. We started building a recording studio. So we had to go up to the private sector. Since the city wouldn't give me the building, so I went to private buildings. And one of the buildings, we already started a recording studio. And we just spent over $150,000 in that one building to make it accessible for the kids. So the city telling me no wasn't a no to me, because they're like, we got to keep going. We got to keep finding other stuff. If the city don't let us come back and build our city back, we still can't stop because of what the city council said.
Also, with that, we've done a couple of private sector houses that we've acquired to work on to keep the guys working. It was just bigger than going back to the city. Once they stopped us from doing the public buildings, we're doing the private sector buildings to keep the guys employed and to keep the morale up.
I want to ask you, you're all residents of Compton. You grew up in Compton, so you're old timers, really. You've been there forever. I want to know, number one, there are a lot of good people in Compton, and there are a lot of good things in Compton. I'd like you to tell me what some of these good things are, because it's not just all about crisis and chaos, right?
Absolutely. Well, the most valuable thing that we have in Compton are the people and their resilience to keep going. The people that you interviewed today that took pride in their city. You saw people standing out saying, we're tired of this. You saw a family out fixing potholes. So we're not the exception. This is the rule. The people in Compton are those people that you see. The exception are the few people that's doing the bad things.
What's your message to the city of Compton, to the leaders of Compton, that, as you guys have said, you believe it's a dysfunctional government? Is that your thought? What do you say to that?
It's time to go. The people have to come out and vote.
When I asked you, what do you want the viewers to get from this story? You said the truth and for the corruption to stop. What do you guys want for the viewers to get from this, from the residents of Compton?
I want them to really analyze what's going on in their cities without them not knowing. Therefore, this stuff like this would happen. But if you go out there and vote, you'll see these people.
We talked about the idea that there have been decades of issues going on in Compton, this being the latest. Is the morale really kind of down among these voters?
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, because, I mean, there's a lot of people don't vote no more because they stay home because of this. There's no answer. Now we're giving them the answer to come out and vote. But yes, it went down tremendously.
Give them a chance. Ex-Crips and ex-Rules. Give them a chance so they can come back to their city and make their city better. Because if you know better, you do better. So when that happened, we all in there. And they said no. So it was like a disappointment to me, because I told these guys, like, look, if we do this together as Crips and Rules, and it wasn't an overnight thing. It took years to put this together. And so when we finally up there, there's no way you could have told me there and say no. And all I said was, just give us a chance. And that's how I explained it to them. I don't want no money from you. I went out and raised the money. So give these guys a chance to stop the gang violence.
We were bringing funding. We were hiring disenfranchised, giving pride back to the guys that did things back in the days, and fixing buildings that was dilapidated and helping nonprofits that supply the city. So we could see no negatives in that.
All right, so you keep fighting the fight, right?
It's not just a job, it's a career. We talk about if you got these guys working from, say, 7 to 5 or whatever it is, nobody got time to be going out on the street gangbang. But when you stop doing all the negative stuff and you do positive stuff, this is what we get. And so all the stuff that they can come back and say is so stupid to me. Like, this is a community. You don't believe in it. If you really believe in your community, how did you deny something like this? All of us had a job in prison. And if it was doing construction, and that's where I got the idea from prison. Because when we went to job, we had to learn how to do tile, we had to paint the walls. So I took that idea, like, we learned this in prison, let's take it back to the street.
I want to thank all of you for being here. 3 of you guys formerly fighting each other on the streets as gang members, one of you a contractor. And I think the bottom line here is you were fighting on the streets and now you're trying to fix them with your own money. We'll see what happens. Thanks again for being with us. Still ahead, I'll tell you about a podcast that's coming up, a new one. This one really interesting. You'll want to hear about it.
So there you have it. That is what is happening in Compton right now. And so, what are your thoughts on that whole issue? It's sad that you have people who are trying to do their best to make their community better, but you have council members who are infighting and can't get along and can't make sound decisions because of the infighting and the controversy that they have between them. And it brings the morale down in the community. And you have people that are community members in Compton who are trying their best to make their voices heard, even ex-gang members who have tried to raise money, and they have raised money. They went with a proposal earnestly trying to see if they could use that money and utilize it, not for drugs, not for, vices, but for the beautification of the community, and they were turned down. What are your thoughts on this controversy? More to come. Thanks for listening.